We're the ones who unilaterally started this war, assassinated Khamenei. And furthermore, 4,000,
the IRGC. You don't speak for us, Iranians.
Wonderful. Listen, let me just finish.
We're so grateful
I know, yes.
regime is being attacked.
Sure, I'm sure you are grateful.
Do not conflate
I'm sure you are grateful.
We are not one and the same. Do not conflate Iran.
4,000 Iranians have been killed, and 1 million Lebanese people have been displaced.
Over 40,000 have been killed by the Islamic regime in January. Where were you then? Where were you then?
Like, yeah, I was against the regime. I was against it. And the regime.
It's like everything is blame Israel.
He didn't get the talking points from Arakchi. Arakchi didn't send him the talking points, which he so effectively has been riling off now.
Anyone thinks that...
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Or if you are new here, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Today we are jumping straight into the fire with this explosive Piers Morgan Uncensored episode on Trump's controversial Iran war deal that has got the entire internet raging. We are zeroing in on a segment of the video. This is where the debate gets really heated around the so-called collapse of the Iranian regime, the human cost of this conflict, and whether any of this so-called victory was actually worth it. Spoiler alert. We are about to expose how this entire war was a pointless, bloody mistake from the very beginning, a masterclass in failed foreign policy, wasted lives, and a weak-kneed deal that achieves almost nothing. If you are tired of endless neocon wars in the Middle East, politicians lying through their teeth, and regular people paying the price with their blood and tax dollars, then do me a favor right now. Smash that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a comment telling me which side you are on. Alright, enough talking. Let's tear this segment apart.
Terrorist Islamic regime will sign and honor a deal made with the great Satan, while their beloved supreme dictator remains unburied and rotting in a fridge. I have a bridge to sell you. You added President Trump has created the conditions to exterminate the terrorist Islamic regime occupying Iran. If it doesn't agree to sign and abide by the unconditional surrender deal Trump wants, bookmark this post. Strong words there, but again, there is a reality check, is there not? That it's clear to me that Donald Trump wants out of this war. It's equally clear to me that Israel does not. And these competing positions are now hurtling to a point where something has to give.
Well, I'm not quite sure what makes you say that. That's not what I've seen from President Trump. President Trump has said that he has all the time in the world. It's not just the military aspect here. There's also the economic aspect. No one really speaks about Project Economic Fury. Now, here's the thing. The Islamic regime is slowly collapsing internally. I hear some people talking about how there's like this new, stronger, more, hardliner Ayatollah. Where is he? Why haven't we seen him? Why hasn't he put out a video or a voice message or anything like that? The reality is the Islamic regime is scared. They're scrambling. And right now, President Trump is really putting their feet to the fire, because I have seen and shared footage from inside of occupied Iran.
Really?
Yeah.
Here we go. Goldie Gamari jumps in claiming the Iranian regime is destined to collapse. Look, I get the desire for freedom in Iran. Oppressive theocracies suck. But let's be real. This war was supposed to accelerate that collapse. Right. Instead, after weeks of bombing, thousands dead, oil prices spiking, and global chaos, the regime is still sitting pretty, negotiating deals in Switzerland. What a masterclass in peace through strength. More like incompetence through arrogance.
Absolutely. Well,
really?
Piers, did you know that the supporters of the Islamic
Where is the evidence this regime does not maintain a completely tight grip over the country and the people? There hasn't been any uprising of any kind by the Iranian people since the start of this war. That does not suggest to me a regime that is collapsing from within. That was the promise that Netanyahu and the head of Mossad made. Well, hang on. Let me finish. Okay. Let me finish. That was the promise made in the White House Situation Room by Benjamin Netanyahu and the head of Mossad, was that there would be a dismantling of the leadership, the IRGC would collapse from within, the people would rise up, and that would be how this played out. None of that's happened. That's what I mean by a reality check. and far from unconditional surrender of the kind Donald Trump wanted. We're way away from unconditional surrender.
Piers, you have to let me respond. So first of all, there's footage coming out from inside of occupied Iran where supporters of the Islamic regime are actually chanting death to Araqchi and death to Ghalibaf because they are angry at the possibility of the Islamic regime signing a peace deal with the great Satan. So that's number one. Number two, when it comes to this, the Iranian people rising up, Iranians have made it very clear. Our leader is His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi. Reza Pahlavi has said very clearly that when the conditions are right, he will make the call, he will issue the call, and the Iranian people at that point will rise up. He has not issued that call yet. And so anyone who's out there saying, oh, the war has failed because the Iranian people haven't risen up, they don't know what they're talking about, because you have to look at the Iranian angle here. The Iranian people listened to His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi. We already know that on January 8 and 9, when they went out, they were massacred. Over 40,000 innocent, unarmed Iranians were slaughtered. Anyone who thinks that Iranians will once again go out while they are unarmed, while the Islamic regime is still a little bit in control and still has the weapons and still brings in their proxy terrorist groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and others, Hashd Shabi, to murder Iranians, if you think Iranians are going to rise up right now when the conditions aren't right, you know nothing about Iran. So that's why Iranians haven't risen up, because His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi has not issued the call yet. It has nothing to do with Israel, nothing to do with America. Ultimately, Iranians have been fighting for freedom for 47 years. We will overthrow the Islamic regime with or without international help. That's all there is to it.
She's pushing hard that the regime's days are numbered because of this conflict. But let's talk about the real consequences. Massive civilian deaths, wrecked economies across the region, and strengthened hardliners who now paint themselves as resistors against American and Israeli aggression. There was zero point in starting this war with Iran. Iran was not invading anyone in a way that justified this. This was pure neocon fan fiction. Regime change will be easy. Flowers in the streets. Sound familiar? Iraq. Libya. Now this flop. Trump campaigned against forever wars, then dove headfirst into one. For what? Photo ops and donor applause?
Okay, Wajahat, that's all there is to it, apparently.
When it comes to why the Iranian people haven't up yet, absolutely. Yeah, we're waiting for the call of His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi. That's what he said. He's the leader of the Iranian revolution.
Back in reality, if Reza Pahlavi actually goes to Iran right now, most likely he would be assassinated and he would not be greeted with the majority of people because he's seen as an agent and tool of the United States of America. But let's go back to reality. Donald Trump's biggest mistake. His biggest mistake was being dog-walked by Benjamin Netanyahu.
I would suggest you don't speak about the Iranian people and how they view His Royal Highness. You're not Iranian. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what people in Iran think or say.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your alternative take on history. Let me just respond. Back in reality, Donald Trump's biggest mistake was he allowed himself to be dog-walked by Benjamin Netanyahu. He pulled out of the JCPOA. If he had just stuck with it, Piers, if he had just stuck with it, Iran would be weaker right now. The regime would actually be much more compliant. There would be much more transparency. It'd be less dangerous. He blew it up. Why? Because Netanyahu said, blow it up. So he did. Then he made the mistake last year of joining Israel in its 12-day war. And Donald Trump then bragged about destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities. He degraded it, didn't destroy it. The biggest mistake was that Donald Trump did something that no president has done in 47 years. He actually followed Netanyahu and Israel into this regime change, this illegal, unconstitutional war. Now, what happened? And you've mentioned the facts. He promised regime change. There isn't a regime change. Sadly, there isn't. This is a totalitarian regime. It's gotten younger. The same players have just been, if you will, upgraded because they're younger, a bit more militant. Iran is...
They are talking about the regime's impact on its people. Fair points on the oppression. But the war's so-called solution made everything worse. Failed strikes, no decapitation of leadership, just more suffering for regular Iranians. And Trump's deal, a pathetic surrender dressed up as victory. It leaves the regime intact. Nuclear issues kicked down the road, just like Obama's deal that Trump hated. Sanctions relief incoming. And Israel fuming on the sidelines. Fail, fail, fail. This was not strategy. It was ego and lobby pressure overriding common sense. The opponents of this war were right from the start. Diplomacy and targeted pressure first, not bombs that rally the regime's base.
Flexing its muscles. Iran wargamed this. The Strait of Hormuz was open. Now it's closed. Who controls the Strait of Hormuz? Iran. What's happened to the global economy? You've seen Asia Pacific just get riled. You've seen gas prices go up to $4.50 to $5. Donald Trump, the Trump administration, has openly said that as a result of this, even if the Strait opens, we're going to see high gas prices until 2027. Energy shortage, fuel shortage, food shortage. It's rocked Asia Pacific. Like I said before, our allies, our Gulf allies said, hey man, we have bases here. We have US companies here. We're getting targeted by Iran. They're looking to China for a new partnership. So what did Donald Trump gain by being dog-walked by Netanyahu? His poll numbers are rock bottom. A majority of Americans are against this war. Gas prices are up, food shortages, energy shortages, helium shortage. Furthermore, the Strait of Hormuz, again, is closed. It used to be open, folks. So Iran, yes, it has suffered many losses. We should not forget about the fact that Israel has killed so many people. Israel still occupies Lebanon. Israel still occupies Gaza. Israel still occupies Syria. And it's so interesting that Naftali Bennett comes on here and says, well, Israel has a right to defend itself. What about Palestinians? What about the Lebanese? What about the Syrians? What about Iranians? Because last time I checked, the United States and Israel were the ones who unilaterally started this war, assassinated Khamenei. And furthermore, 4,000,
the IRGC. You don't speak for us, Iranians.
Wonderful. Listen, let me just finish.
We're so grateful
I know, yes.
regime is being attacked.
Sure. I'm sure you are grateful.
Do not conflate
I'm sure you are grateful.
We are not one and the same. Do not conflate Iran and Islamic regime.
4,000 Iranians have been killed and 1 million Lebanese people have been displaced.
Over 40,000 have been killed by the Islamic regime in January. Where were you then? Where were you then?
Like, yeah, I was against the regime. I was against the regime and the regime.
It's like everything is blame Israel.
He didn't get the talking points from Arakchi. Arakchi didn't send him the talking points, which he so effectively has been riling off now. I mean, basically, Arakchi or IRGC spokesperson could have said everything word by word that you just said. You're just reading off Iranian propaganda talking points. I don't know. You call yourself American. You call yourself something in favor of the US.
Listen. The game has changed. The game has changed.
After the other.
No one believes. No one believes.
10 minutes of this and the pattern is crystal clear. Warmongers on the panel hyping collapse, while ignoring the body count and the strategic disaster. Starting this war achieved nothing permanent, except death and destruction. Trump's deal fails because it does not dismantle the threats it claimed to target. It only legitimizes the regime after weakening America's position. Harsh truth, this was completely avoidable. Lives wasted for nothing.
Israel.
Not accurate. Many of them not accurate. I don't think
okay, Jonathan.
Many of them weren't
Jonathan, the problem, Jonathan, the problem is a lot of the Iranian talking points, as you put it, are demonstrably true, in the sense that they do control the Strait of Hormuz. The regime is still intact. The Ayatollah's dead, but his son has replaced him. And although we haven't seen him, we've had statements come from him, and he is believed to still be alive, albeit wounded. We'll see. I mean, time will tell. But we've also seen Iran attack its neighbors in the Gulf with impunity, which has caused enormous damage there. So this idea, and, you know, I totally agree with Wajahat, there's been a lot of damage militarily to Iran's Navy and Air Force and so on. That's indisputable. But what's also indisputable, Jonathan, is that there's been an asymmetric war battled through the Strait of Hormuz and the control of global energy and all the economic damage that causes. And it's been very effective. And the Iranians know that. So, you know, my concern about this is not a defensive Iran. I think the Iranian regime is despicable and has oppressed its people for nearly 50 years now. And it's appalling. But, you know, there are lots of despicable regimes around the world, and the Americans don't attack them. I think the Americans attacked Iran when they did because Benjamin Netanyahu persuaded Donald Trump this was the moment to do it.
Really?
I'm sorry, I do.
Really?
I think he persuaded him. Yeah, I really do. I really believe.
I honestly expect you, Piers.
Let me finish. Let me finish my point. I believe, as we read in the New York Times 2 months ago, in a very detailed analysis of what happened, that Netanyahu and the head of Mossad laid out a chain of events which they believed was perfectly achievable, and Donald Trump signed up to it. I'm not saying he didn't in the end make his own decision for the United States. I'm just saying he believed Benjamin Netanyahu when he said, if you do this, then all this will follow. And it hasn't turned out that way. And that's why Trump wants out. But Benjamin Netanyahu wants to finish the job. And that is where we now are, I believe. Now, you know, there will be people who, even as I say that, Jonathan, will be screaming, well, yes, because you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm not.
No,
I'm really
not. I'm not going to say that. I just know what I see with my own eyes.
That's the raw take on this segment. A pointless war, a failed deal, and the same old cycle of interventionist disaster. The people opposing this madness from the beginning called it correctly. If you want more no BS reactions to political insanity, smash that like button, subscribe, drop a comment. Was this war worth it? Share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Stay skeptical, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.